Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to completely shatter this illusion we all have of the cloud and reveal the incredibly gritty, physical reality that actually powers your entire digital life. When we think of the internet, we usually imagine wireless signals, ethereal data clouds floating around, or satellites orbiting way up high. But the truth is actually far more grounded, or, well, rather submerged. Today, we're exploring the silent backbone of our modern world, the geopolitics of the deep sea floor. Okay, let's just dive right into the staggering number, 95%. Think about that for a second. Despite all the massive hype we hear around satellite constellations right now, over 95% of all international internet traffic actually travels deep underwater. Almost every single email you send, every video you stream, every global banking transaction you make, it doesn't go to space. It literally goes to the very bottom of the ocean. Our whole modern society depends on this hidden infrastructure way, way more than most people realize. And this image right here brilliantly captures that hidden reality. Every single glowing line represents a massive, and I mean massive, volume of data flowing between continents. Every cloud server, every military communication system, financial markets, they all rely on this fragile, glowing web stretching across the freezing, pitch-dark ocean floor. It's basically an interconnected global nervous system, and it is entirely physical. So to truly grasp how incredible this whole setup is, we need to look at Section 1, Anatomy of the Deep, and how we are engineering an absolute miracle. Just look at the sheer scale contrast here. Up on the surface, you've got these highly specialized cable-laying ships, carefully dropping these incredibly complex systems down into the depths. Inside the cable itself, to protect that precious data, it's wrapped in thick outer jackets, heavy steel armor, insulation, and copper. In shallow waters, they'll sometimes bury them, but out in the open ocean, they literally just drop them down to depths of anywhere from 500 to a staggering 6,000 meters. They are relying purely on extreme depth and total isolation to keep them secure. So how does the data actually travel? Well, it happens in 3 crucial steps. First, the data starts at these massive coastal landing stations right on the shoreline. Second, all that information is converted into rapid pulses of light that shoot through ultra-thin fiber-optic strands. You can see those tiny, glowing blue cores in the cross-section. And finally, step 3, those light pulses make their journey safely across thousands of miles of seabed at mind-blowing speeds, linking continents together in literal milliseconds. It is an absolute engineering marvel. We have laid over 1 million kilometers of this hidden infrastructure to seamlessly connect the globe. 1 million kilometers! To put that into perspective, that is enough cable to wrap around the entire Earth roughly 25 times. These systems are designed to just sit down there and operate for decades, silently keeping the global communications network running right under our noses. But seeing how much we all rely on these incredibly thin strands resting on the ocean floor, it kind of leads us to a really terrifying question. What actually happens when this invisible backbone snaps? Because look, despite all that steel armor, they are fundamentally vulnerable. Well, before we even get to the human element, we have to look at the environment itself. In Section 2, the accidental threats. Because honestly, nature alone is a massive threat to our internet. We're talking about serious environmental risks here: violent underwater earthquakes, sudden undersea landslides, unpredictable volcanic activity. Even extreme weather way up on the surface can ultimately cause the seabed to shift and just tear these vital cables apart in an instant. Like back in 2006, the Hangchon earthquake triggered undersea landslides off Taiwan that severed multiple cables that actually crippled internet access and financial transactions across Asia for weeks. And then you add us to the mix. Everyday human maritime activity is responsible for a ton of disruptions. A heavy fishing trawler's net scraping the bottom, aggressive offshore construction, or even just a dragged ship anchor can accidentally sever a critical link. In fact, in 2008, a single, just one, dragged anchor in the Mediterranean severed cables that wiped out internet access for millions of people across the Middle East and India. Entire regions can experience sudden, massive outages just from a simple mistake. But here's the thing. A dropped anchor is an accident, sure, but what we're looking at now is the deliberate severing of these lines, which elevates this from a random accident to a catastrophic infrastructure failure. Suspicious incidents involving targeted strikes by submarines and underwater drones have the international community seriously on edge. We're moving from physical accidents to hybrid threats, where losing a signal isn't just bad luck anymore, it's actually a targeted strike. Which brings us to a massive escalation in Section 3, the geopolitical battlespace. The ocean floor is no longer just a neutral highway. As countries wake up to the strategic importance of this infrastructure, global power dynamics are shifting downward, and nations are scrambling to respond. As you can see here, they're deploying incredibly complex webs of surveillance. We're talking AI-driven analytics, seabed environmental sensors, and advanced naval monitoring. All of this is working together to protect against a sprawling threat landscape, from GPS spoofing to direct network intrusions. It's this constant, invisible game of high-stakes global maritime awareness. And why go through all this trouble? Well, because these undersea cables are now the ultimate prize in modern hybrid warfare. Without firing a single conventional weapon, state actors or their proxies can use targeted sabotage and sophisticated espionage to completely cripple a rival. Disrupting key cables can crash financial markets, take out internet connectivity, and create major region-wide economic chaos. If you want proof of just how seriously the world is taking this, take a look at this list of heavy hitters. NATO, CSIS, Chatham House, they all now treat critical undersea infrastructure as a top-tier priority. You've got major cyber protection agencies like CISA in the US and the NCSC in the UK deeply involved, alongside specialized infrastructure mapping organizations. Protecting the seabed has literally become a top national security mandate across the board. So where do we go from here? That brings us to Section 4, protecting our strategic power. Because we aren't just protecting cat videos anymore, right? We are protecting the very foundation of global economic and military stability. As our reliance on artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and digital finance skyrockets, our infrastructure has to keep up. The future of deep-sea security is going to rely heavily on supercharging our cyber defense, building out resilient infrastructure, and leveraging AI to predict threats before they even happen. It is absolutely crucial for modern survival. I want to share this quote directly from our source material because it really hits the nail on the head. Information itself has become strategic power, and much of that power travels silently across the ocean floor. Wow, it is just such a profound shift in how we need to understand global power dynamics today. So I'll leave you with this. Now that you know the true nature of our global connectivity, that this limitless, magical cloud is actually just a highly engineered steel tube sitting in the darkest, most contested trenches of the ocean, how secure do you really feel your digital footprint is? It's definitely something to chew on the next time you stream a movie or send an email. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the systems that power your world.